This is for all you multi-talented, multitasking, multi-everything people out there. Take it away.
Find your glory, write your story, fearless, we will carry you. Time you own it, take your moment, be a fire burning through. Hustling from night until morning, grinding it out, it won't be long. Feel your power, it's your hour, you inspire, you are strong.
Enjoy your Zoa. No applause? You're all fired.
Now that you've reached the stage in your life where quality television is important, Nubian TV is a black network that speaks to your lifestyle. Nubian TV is the world's first digital network devoted to the upscale and political lifestyles of black people. Nubian TV's programming includes politics, travel, fashion, food, automotive, arts and culture, civil rights, music, and more. Watch now on Amazon Fire TV, Roku, or watch globally at nubiantv.net. Nubian TV, it's what you want to watch.
Come with me if you want to live a more delicious life.
Oh, maybe we should get in the van.
In this world, we don't get to control much. The past, male pattern baldness.
Leggies.
Got one right now. The urge to puff that bubble wrap. But there is one thing we do get to choose every single day. What we eat. Welcome to the Sonic Department of Research and Deliciousment. We have everything you want, didn't know you wanted, and some things you didn't know were possible. Because we believe if you're not having fun, you're not living free. So come on, let's live a little.
Hey, good morning, America. Good morning, America.
Good morning, America.
Good morning, America.
Money! Are you ready? They are ready.
Covering the biggest events in the country right now.
There's a lot going on here this morning.
It's always a good time. That's what the show's about.
That's good.
Really good.
Very good.
Coming in hot, Jimmy, coming in hot.
It's far from elementary.
Good morning, America. I'm not going to try to strut like Michael or anything.
I have known George a long, long time.
Have you ever gotten him to dance?
Look at that face.
You don't just see it, you feel it.
I'm in.
I'm in. I'm in.
I'm in too.
I'll be there.
I am here and so happy.
I'm in.
I'm in too.
I'm in.
That tells you something when Snoop Dogg's in. Michael, George, where?
Ginger.
Prepare for a journey beyond imagination, beyond belief, beyond anything you've experienced before. Universal Epic Universe, a new theme park where you'll step through extraordinary portals to 5 immersive worlds. Prepare for a cosmic voyage of discovery, an isle of fire-breathing excitement, a shadowy world of monsters and mystery, new wonders in the wizarding world, and a new way to play. Plus the splendor of a magnificent resort hotel overlooking the park. It's all new excitement at Universal Orlando Resort. A week's worth of vacation thrills with 4 amazing theme parks, a variety of spectacular themed hotels, and incredible dining and entertainment. It's all at Universal Orlando Resort, where you'll find new adventures every day. Explore the astonishing worlds of Universal Epic Universe at Universal Orlando Resort.
Well, hello to you, and you. Welcome into another edition of Brayley's Virtual Tour Live. It is the 24th day of the Diddy trial. We got some more testimony to get through. Plus, not only that, some updates for you all, and a very interesting article about how new media is taking over the Diddy trial. We have a lot to discuss. Higher is waiting, low is available. But either way, we are live on tour. Let me take down this iconic intro. Yeah. You see the virtual tour background? Yes, you do. You hear that virtual tour music? Yes, you do. And then there is me. Hey, everybody. Welcome in. Glad to have all of you here. Let's get to the getting and doing what we do, shall we? Because we do have a lot to discuss. Like I said, it's the 24th day of the Diddy trial here. From NBCNews.com, Sean Diddy Combs trial, jury dismissed over concerns about his candor. Combs faces 5 criminal counts in total, including 2 of sex trafficking, as denied all the allegations. What to know about the trial? A juror was dismissed today over concerns about his candor after he allegedly gave conflicting answers about where he lives, either in New York or across the Hudson River in New Jersey. The fate of another juror who might have spoken improperly about the case of a former colleague, was left unresolved when Judge R. Sumerian left the bench this afternoon. Ooh, that's a no, because you can't talk to anybody about the case at all. Combs faces 5 criminal counts, 1 count of racketeering conspiracy, 2 counts of sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion, and 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution. Combs has ferociously denied the allegations against him. This live briefing may include graphic descriptions on sexual violence. For resources on sexual assault, call the National Sexual Assault Telephone. National Sexual Assault Telephone Hotline, Sign up for the Diddy trial news. Sign up for the Diddy on trial newsletter, for key developments and analysis. And of course, listen to the Dateline Nightly podcast. All right, here we go, everybody. Let's get to the get and do what we do. Fate of another juror left unresolved by end of court day. The fate of another juror who might have spoken improperly about the case of a former colleague was left unresolved when Judge Sumerian left the bench this afternoon. Earlier in the day, the court said a second member of the panel might have acted improperly, and his fate will be taken up after testimony. But when Judge Sumerian sent jurors home, the issue wasn't addressed. Judge Sumerian had dismissed a juror earlier in the day for giving conflicting answers about where he lives. That juror, who is black, might live in New Jersey and outside bounds of the Southern District of New York. So, with that being said, this jury is not sequestered, right? So they can go home, right? But they are given the task of do not look at anything about the case. You cannot talk to anybody about the case. So if that happened, then you have 2 jurors off the jury in the middle of the 6th week of the trial. So it's like we're almost down to the wire here of July 4th, right? To start the deliberations to see what the verdict is going to be. So this is kind of dicey a little bit. Jury dismissed for the day. Judge Sumerian dismissed the jury, letting them know to return again for another day of testimony starting at 9 a.m. tomorrow. Video evidence being played for the jury only. The prosecution has claimed videos entered into evidence under seal, meaning the jury can see and hear what's going on, but the public is left in the dark. A hotel night in 47 International Hotel cost nearly $800 record show. Combs and Ventura ran up a $795.63 bill at the 47 International Hotel in Tower, New York on October 14, 2022. The records introduced as evidence in court showed. The total charge for a night in room 612 included $34.95 for a movie, $67.24 for breakfast, and another $100.33 for refreshment. refreshments rather. A sex worker was asked to come to the room of a Frank Black, a Combs codename record shows. Oh man. I mean, is his tower even still around? I think they had to take down his name, right, off of the New York Tower, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So I don't know if that place it's still around or not. But court returns from lunch break. The jury is back in court following the day's lunch break to resume the questioning of the special agent with the U.S. Attorney's Office. During the break, prosecutors told Judge Smirian that Deleassa Penland's testimony is expected to take the rest of the day. Lunch break in testimony. Judge Smirian declared a recess for lunch, asking jurors to return to the courtroom before 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The U.S. Attorney's Office Special Agent Deleassa Penland will continue her testimony this afternoon about charts and records associated with Combs' case. Government reviews flight records of male escort. Prosecutor Emily Johnson is having United States Attorney's Office Special Agent Deleassa Penland review flight records belonging to Jules Theodore, an escort frequently hired to engage in free calls with Combs and Ventura. Penland went over text messages between the two men from December 2009, which Combs arranged plans to have Jules travel between New York and Los Angeles to party for a weekend. The special agent testified to the flight itinerary and hotel arrangements, confirming that a meeting took place at the London hotel between December 11th and December 14th, 2009. This appears to be a line of questioning to support the two transportation charges to engage in prostitution that Combs is facing, in addition to racketeering and sex trafficking. So, like I said, prostitution is legal in some places. It's legal everywhere else, right? So, at the beginning, middle, end of the day, we do know that Cassie had to order escorts off of websites. We also know that Jane also had to do that as well. So, yeah, that's a thing that happened. So I'm not surprised by this at all. I think, if anything, this is a concrete receipt of the fact that, okay, he actually did pay. You know what I mean? Because we have heard that, people have booked, escorts, but we hadn't seen an actual receipt. So this is an actual factual receipt. Next witness called to the stand. The government called its next witness to the stand, U.S. Attorney's Office Special Agent Deleassa Penland. While she did not work directly on this case, she was tasked with reviewing the Combs investigation's charts and data. That's still working directly on the case because the charts and data relates to the case. So, summary witness off the stand, Ananya Sankar, a paralegal for the United States Attorney's Office, has left the witness stand. Prosecutors used Sankar as a summary witness to go over much of the evidence the paralegal reviewed for the court. Combs' top 8 pushes boss on lack of honesty, context shows. A text message to Combs from his chief of staff around the time the Ventura lawsuit dropped in November 2023 seemed to show some discord between him and Parkman. Oh my Lord. In the words of Azalea Banks, the crazy parasite life that should have been disinfected by her mother. The girls are fighting. The girls are fighting. The girls are fighting. Oh my Lord Jesus. According to the text message shown in court, Corkman texted Combs to tell him that this doesn't work if he wasn't honest with her. She wrote that his keeping things to himself put them in the situation we are all in right now, adding that she felt like they were about to relive it over again. It's not clear what the messages are referencing, though it's notably around the time Ventura filed her lawsuit or her suit. And as Combs' relationship with Jane was breaking down, Combs' defense then went over a text from Jane to Combs telling him that she felt sexually exploited, manipulated, and drugged by Combs. So even the chief of staff was like, bruh, what are you doing? Like, you've done what you've done, but like, this is an actual lawsuit that's really ironclad with things that you've actually done. And here's the thing, Attorney Simone broke it down. Cassie didn't sue Diddy. she sued Diddy's companies. And so those companies, you know, they have insurance policies. So in so many words, to protect them from lawsuits like this. So they settled with Cassie, which actually hurt Diddy, right? So there it is. Child, this don't make no damn sense. Combs' team worried about reports of breakup. Text messages show. Text messages introduced into evidence during Sankar's cross-examination showed that 2016 Combs' team was worried about upcoming reports of him breaking up with Ventura and a confrontation that involved police. Combs' team was particularly concerned about TMZ's reporting on the incident, but Combs' chief of staff, Corcoran, was ultimately relieved by what was published. It was better than it was. Definitely could have been worse, Corcoran wrote in a text message to his PR strategist, Natalie Marr. So here's the thing, right? Like, regardless of what could have been out with these text messages, they were still going to come out, right? I mean, if you guys did not watch the morning show on Apple TV, they broke down morning television and the behind the scenes of network movement in such a way, it's chef's kiss. It really, really is. And so people will pay, right? Or will ask for favors to kill a piece. So regardless of what was going to happen, these texts were going to come out, right? There was nothing that you could do, because when TMZ or Entertainment Tonight access E-News, when they get something ironclad, right, or extra even, when they get something ironclad, they go with it because that's what's trending, right? So not surprised by that either. Combs called Mia 6 times to clear things up after Ventura's lawsuit dropped. Combs attempted to reach Mia, a former employee who previously testified for the prosecution, by calling and texting her multiple times in the months after Cassie Ventura's lawsuit dropped. Phone records show that in February 2024, Combs called Mia at least 6 times in one day, then messaged her apologizing for blowing up her phone, adding he needed to clear up a few things. What things did you need to clear up? Like, what? What are we doing here? What are we doing here? What are we doing here? Sir, you did what the fuck you did. Like we said before, you called Eddie Garcia a little bit drunk and said that video could ruin your career. So what did you need to call me about? Because you knew you done fucked up? Okay, John. Oh, my Lord. Combs said he needed to know who was around him and when. Around the same time, evidence showed Combs' guard D-Rock messaging me, offering her a gift, though she said she didn't ask for anything. Ventura's lawsuit was filed in November 2023, and federal agents raided Combs' homes in March of 2024. Text messages show Combs' staff check in with him after Ventura's lawsuit. Text messages entered into evidence show that Ventura's bombshell lawsuit shook up Combs and those around him in November 2023. Just days after Ventura filed her civil complaint against Combs in 2023, the music mogul security guard D-Rock texted him, "I need to hear your voice, bro. I love you." Combs responded on November 19th that year, "Thank you for checking on me. Really appreciate it. Love you." So, did D-Rock text him that I love you because there was a genuine connection here? Or of like, hey, you need to hear his voice because you still want to make sure that your boss is okay so you can still get a check? Like, which is it? Like, and I don't know why the bombshell lawsuit shook up Combs and all the people around him, because he did all the shit, allegedly. I mean, when you sell a lawsuit the next day, you pretty much did it. Combs' chief of staff knew of his blackmail threat, according to text messages. Prosecutors then showed messages Shane shared with Corcoran in December 2023, saying that Combs threatened to expose sex tapes, appearing to show that Combs' chief of staff was aware of his blackmail threats to his alleged victim. In the message, Jane wrote that Combs was trying to show the tapes in which she was heavily drugged to the father of Jane's baby. Jane wrote that she was traumatized by her time with Combs and was filled with emotion. Corcoran told Jane she had not seen Combs in 2 days and would call her. The court played an audio file of the conversation between Combs and Jane after Cassie Ventura's abuse lawsuit was revealed to the public. Jane previously told the court that she was unaware the conversation was being recorded. Jane was distraught, telling Combs that the lawsuit felt word for word like her experience made her sick to her stomach. Jane testified earlier in the trial that she felt Combs exploited her for hotel nights, and she thought Combs used her paying rent as a tool. Oh, Jesus. Let me see something. That's it. Let me see. Oh yeah, we heard this one. We heard this one, but I will show it to y'all just to catch you up. Okay, here we go.
Ex-girlfriend of Sean Diddy Combs back on the stand today, giving graphic and disturbing testimony in the sex trafficking racketeering trial against the rap mogul using the pseudonym Jane. She's testifying she was forced into drug-fueled sexual encounters with male prostitutes that could last for days. Comes after jurors actually heard recordings of Combs' voice for the very first time. Prosecutors played 3 recordings allegedly sent from Combs to Jane. Here's a portion of one of them.
Single, I could do whatever I want to, but I didn't. You're straight flipping out on me, and I told you that you had one more time to do this. Flipping out on me because somebody came to work out with me at my house. You're nuts. So be sad, go crazy, do whatever you want to do.
Combs has pleaded not guilty to all charges. His legal team says all sexual encounters were consensual. For more,
so there was one call there, but it looks like they released another call as well. So I think for some of the audio, we're able to hear like that one. And I think that was the call or part of the call. And then other times, only the jurors will be able to see and hear, right? And then other times, the whole courtroom will hear. All right, here we go. No one deserves to be dragged by the hair, Cassie Ventura told Combs' top aide in a text. In a May 2nd, 2017 text from the singer Cassie Ventura to Parkman, Combs' then girlfriend said no one deserves to be dragged by their hair following an alleged attack by the defendant. A concerned Parkman asked Ventura if she was okay. The singer responded that she didn't know why Combs was acting out, but that she needed to stay focused on her career. When you have to tell somebody that you deserve the basics to their chief of staff, and the chief of staff's job is to make sure everybody is respecting everybody, including the boss respecting his employees, that's a problem. Text show Combs asking staff to obtain 15 pills of Molly for him. Isn't it interesting that they went after Breonna Corkman or Breonna Boglin of her taking drugs, but yet 15 pills of Molly here from Diddy or for Diddy? I'm just saying. And this is the defense that's making headway, allegedly. Combs asked his employees to pick up illegal substances for him in 2022, according to text messages entered into evidence. Prosecutors reviewed messages between Combs, Corkman, and Combs' head of security, Fareem Mohammed, from November 24th, 2022. In the messages, Corkman asked Combs what Mohammed needs to pick up before flying to Miami. Combs texts 15 pills of Molly before instructing Corkman not to text about it. You got Mario confused. What? So you mean to tell me, right? You sent text messages, right? Asking. I'm just so confused. I really am. Because it says right here, Corkman asks Combs what Muhammad needs to pick up before flying to Miami. Combs texts 15 pills of Molly before instructing Corkman not to text about it. Sir, your chief of staff texted you to text Mohammed about what you needed before flying to Miami. So you still texted about it. So you asking Courtney not to text about it. She's got to text Mohammed about it. Does that make sense? Okay, John. Escorts were common in the Combs world, text messages show. Combs' frequent employment of male escorts for marathon sex sessions became a bit of a running joke among his employees, according to text messages entered into evidence. According to testimony earlier in this trial, Combs and his former girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, frequently hired the service cowboys for Angels. And then, of course, Backpage as well. Combs' assistant, Ryan Lopez, texted Corkman on December 29th, 2019. LOL, I think I saw one of the Cowboys today. You can spot them in the lobby like an escort. I forgot to tell you about it. Corkman texted back 4 laughing face emojis. By the way, how long is he going to stay awake? LOL, I'm guessing until tomorrow night. Oh my God. Oh my God. Now that's huge. So the fact that the employees knew that escorts were common in his world, if your employees knew, bruh, the racketeering RICO charge, really? And and literally in the last piece of, recap says you texted Corkman to get 15 pills of Molly. So basically you had your security get illegal drugs for a hotel night freak off, which one of the charges is, did he utilize a criminal enterprise to commit acts? Oh my God. How can I describe this energy? I think I can describe it this way.
Time is slipping away from me. Yeah. Time.
Hey, Patricia Ellis Robin, good to see you, my friend. I hope all is well with you. So your assistant knew what was going on, and your chief of staff knew what was going on, and your security guard knew what was going on, and Capricorn Clark, your personal assistant, knew what was going on. Bruh! Casey and JoJo, can you say what happened today one more time?
Time is slipping away from me. Yeah.
One more time.
Time is slipping away from me. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I just want to make sure we're all on the same chord. Okay. Combs needed soup and cash in hotel room, text messages show. According to a text message entered into evidence from his chief of staff, Christina Corkman, to other assistants in March 2016, Combs had some very specific needs for a Four Seasons hotel room. Corkman told staffers to ensure the room was stocked with Gatorade, water, and chicken noodle soup. So Heinz ketchup, chicken noodle soup, and applesauce. Okay. In another text, Corkman asked workers to fetch $4,000 in cash and ensure that male escort had access to that hotel room. Okay. Witness goes over evidence files from Combs' chief of staff. The prosecution is having Sankar review the evidence sheet review, which was extracted from the phone of Christina Corkman, or KK, who served as Combs' chief of staff. Some of the messages include apparent discussions about an escort, and others include Corkman instructed an assistant to set up Combs' hotel room for him before he arrived. Go! I am flabba kaput. I'm flabba kaput. I am flabba kaput. Prosecutors also looked at messages where assistants were told to give Combs large quantities of cash. The line of questioning appears to be the government's way of bolstering its allegation that Combs used his employees to assist in his criminal enterprise. That Exhibit A. An accountant joins jury of 12 as another panelist's fate is considered. A 57-year-old accountant from Westchester County was promoted from the alternative pool into the primary panel of 12. The white male will replace juror number 6, a black male who gave inconsistent answers about his residence. The court said there could be an issue with another juror over conversations he might have had with a colleague. This juror was questioned by the judge Friday and handed his vote to Sumerian. The judge will ask the panelists more questions after testimony today. We read at the top of the show that he did not. Now, here's the thing, right? When you are an alternate right now, I'm assuming that an alternate has the same rules as the jury. You don't watch anything, don't talk to anybody about it. But then again, you're an alternate. So you have a little bit more headway to watch me, to watch Make It Make Sense, to watch, Lovely TV. You have some room, right? And so it's like, okay, what does this white male know, right? And what doesn't he know? Because this is the 6th week, I believe. I think that this is the 6th week of the trial. So 2 more weeks in his jury deliberation, right? So very interesting there. That happened at 9:25 a.m. there. Government calls summary witness to the stand. Prosecutors call Ananya Sankar, a paralegal for the U.S. Attorney's Office, to the stand. Sankar is to serve as a summary witness or someone who offers a simplified testimony about the large volume of evidence in the case. She told the court that she reviewed text messages from cell phone extractions, call logs, other files, and 2 charts. Juror dismissed over concerns about his candor. U.S. District Court Judge Aaron Surin dismissed a juror this morning, saying he had concerns about his candor and whether he shaded answers to get on and stay on the panel. An alternate will replace juror number 6. Sumerian shared defense concerns about dismissing the juror, a 41-year-old black male. But Sumerian said he couldn't get past the juror's inconsistent answers about where he lives, either in New York City or within the bounds of the Subdistrict of New York, or with his girlfriend in New Jersey. Court is now in session. Court is now in session for the 24th day of the Combs trial. Defense files letter to court Sunday in last-ditch appeal to keep juror. Defense attorneys yesterday filed a 14-page letter. So y'all asked for 2 mistrials, and y'all made a 14-page letter? Judge, it all started off on a Sunday evening in New York City. It was raining. I didn't have an umbrella. I was trying to find somewhere to stay dry. And juror number 6, he had a backpack and he offered me an umbrella. And for that reason alone, we should get rid of him. What the hell? Oh my God, I can't. Like, sorry, always happens during show time. Anyway, a 14-page letter. A 14-page letter. Okay then. With the court to make a last-ditch appeal to keep juror number 6 on the panel. In the letter, the defense argued that there's no valid basis to dismiss the juror and that it will be discriminatory not to allow him to remain, citing more than 2 dozen examples. Attorneys for Combs said the case has been extreme exercise of overreach from its inception. All this was a part of a coordinated effort to destroy one of the most successful black men in American history. You know who was a successful black man in American history? Martin Luther King Jr. You know another one? Malcolm X. You know another one? Marcus Garvey. Black Star Line. You know another one? Medgar Evers. All men in the civil rights movement who did what they did, so they didn't have to be a slave. Okay? Those are some successful black men in American history. Holy, Deleassa said, who is expected to testify this week as we begin week 6? That's why I thought week 6 of Combs' trial. Prosecutors are expected to conclude their case this week with summary witnesses Ananya Sankar and Deleassa Penland. Prosecutors said Penland will focus on the timeline of the alleged March 2016 assault on Combs' former girlfriend, Cassandra Ventura, at the Intercontinental Hotel in Los Angeles that was captured on security video. After that, Combs' assistant, Brendan Paul, summary witness Joseph Zarello, and Omar Hazri, a law enforcement agent, are expected to testify. So, another assistant, another summary witness, and a law enforcement agent who will have something to do probably with the raids are expected to testify. Kanye appeared Friday at the federal courthouse to show support to support Combs. Kanye, the controversial hip-hop artist formerly known as, no, he's still known as Kanye West, appeared at the courthouse Friday in an apparent show of support for Combs. The scene was wild, reporters running for the elevators and sprinting across the outdoor promenade to get a closer look. Kanye's appearance was notably partially because so few high-profile celebrities have publicly aligned themselves with Combs since he came under federal investigation. However, Kanye then entered the courtroom and left the building after 30 minutes following a brief stop in the overflow area. Juror on the verge of being dismissed on Friday, U.S. District Judge Smirian said that there were serious questions about jurors' candor and ability to follow directions. Smirian said it was unclear whether the juror lives in New York or New Jersey based on seemingly conflicting answers during jury selection and subsequent discussions with attorneys and the court. If the latter, he will be ineligible to serve on a jury in the Southern District of New York. The juror, a 41-year-old male who works in communications at a correctional facility, sits in the front row on the far right facing the party. He's attentive and takes notes. The defense said it was very much opposed to removing this juror. Smirian said he will hold off on making a final decision until today, when he will interview the juror again. If the juror is removed, he will be replaced by one of the alternates. And that's everything you need to know about the 24th day of the Diddy trial. Now, could juror number 6 be getting, set up for interviews right now? And could he be taking his notes to a ghostwriter or a writer to start making the book of what he knew? Absolutely. Without question, I would not be surprised if that's happening right now. Now, I do want to show y'all this because I saw this earlier, right? And we talked about P. Diddy on the Ellen DeGeneres show. Y'all, this one's crazy. I have not seen this clip, okay? We're going to talk about it. Here we go.
Ellen, before you start, I just want to say I was so moved by that video clip. I think that our relationship is going in the right direction.
Yeah. I agree.
And I want to say I love you.
I love you too.
I love you, Ellen.
I love you too.
Yes.
We've gotten
And on that note, can I take off my shades right now?
Yes, please. Oh. And then I'll put them on.
Yeah.
I think you should slowly, throughout the entire interview, take off a piece of clothing. Like, it's an idea.
Yeah, no. I wore black today, and if I said I felt cute, it would be an understatement.
You're beyond cute. Well, who are you today? You're sometimes Diddy, Puffy, Daddy, Diddy. Who are you?
This is Puff Daddy.
You're Puff Daddy.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm back.
Puff is back.
I'm back. Just
yeah.
Right now.
Now, when you did this, first of all, you did a documentary that was fantastic. I don't know if you saw the documentary, but there's how were you feeling in that because you show the butt, your buttocks?
Yes.
Often.
Yes.
Because you get a shot in the buttocks.
Yeah.
So there's a.
I lost my voice, and I'm so committed to the show. I have to get sometimes shots in my butt so I can perform, because I got older and I need as much.
Well, why are you getting a shot in your butt? Last time you were here, you literally were walking in holding. You had an IV in your arm, and you were holding the bag. Well, are you still doing that?
You know what I just realized? I'm a hypochondriac. Yeah, I think that's it. No, I think I'm looking at the movie. I didn't really need the shot in my butt. I have an IV. I really wasn't thirsty. You know what I'm saying?
You didn't
Thank you.
Yeah, you didn't need it because it was vitamins, right? You had an IV in your arm.
Vitamins. I mean, I work hard and I play hard too, and
right.
So then I try to balance it sometimes with other means of Western medicine.
Right. Well, because you have this. By the way, congratulations! You were just named #1 Forbes hip hop. I mean, the #1 hip hop artist on Forbes list. That is like huge. Huge. And like.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
But not only that, that's really impressive, but you were also named one of the 100 greatest living business minds. Now, you're up there with like Warren Buffett and all kinds of people. That's really impressive. I mean, that's...
Thank you. Thank you. It's a blessing.
Yeah.
It's a blessing.
Because, you can make money and you can be on Forbes list, but to be in that group of people as, 100 greatest business minds, it's, I mean, really,
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Hats off to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right. Listen.
Can I say one thing about that?
Yes.
My motivation is not to make the most money, it's to give the most money away to help people that are less fortunate than myself.
Well, speaking of that, can I tell him what I just learned?
I'm feeling like a peacock, baby.
He just gave $100,000. Listen, yeah, he just gave $100,000 to Puerto Rico. So let's just. Speaking of that. So this is the new one, right? You have how many flavors do you have now?
We have so many flavors.
All right, so this is French vanilla.
It's because we make the best flavors. That's why we have so many flavors. We want to give you variety in life. Ciroc Ultra Premium Vodka, and it's gluten free.
And it's gluten free.
Yeah.
So it's healthy.
Yes.
Go ahead. Now, French vanilla, where did that come up with? How did you think of this?
I had this artist named French Montana.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I mean, God has blessed me to be around some special people, but this is a special person. He just loves to give. And one of the things that I want to do, I don't want to just be the #1 in hip hop. I want to help all of my other fellow hip hop artists as businessmen and businesswomen to start to own different things and get equity in the culture. And so I did a special deal with him and I gave him his own flavor. Almost like when Jordan gets his own shoe.
Right. So we're gonna take a break and we're gonna bring him out here so we can meet this special sexy guy.
He's a special guy.
And we're gonna see what he's like when he parties because he's sexy.
He has a glow about him, ladies.
All right.
So I wanted to play that clip because I'm like, bruh, why in the flying fuck did you go on the El DeGeneres show and talk about getting a shot in your ass? Bruh, it's daytime television. Let's add some more dynamic video here. This damn trial, I roll it.
Welcome back to ABC News Live. First, a judge in the Son Diddy Combs trial has officially dismissed a juror. Prosecutors had requested the juror be removed due to, quote, lack of candor. The defense argued they just wanted to dismiss a black juror. Chief investigative correspondent Aaron Katersky is outside the courthouse in Lower Manhattan. So, Aaron, what was the issue with this juror?
His candor, according to the judge, Diane. The judge said he gave conflicting answers when asked a pretty basic question. Where do you live? And during jury selection, he said he lived in the Bronx. He then mentioned somewhat casually to a court staff member that he had moved to New Jersey. And then when questioned about it, he gave conflicting answers about whether he was actually living in the
It's
Bronx
New
or whether
York.
he was living in New Jersey. And the judge said that raised broader questions about his candor and whether he made a deliberate attempt to try and get himself seated onto the jury for this particular trial. And he said that could not stand.
Aaron, the defense has made arguments that this is racially motivated. How does this affect the makeup of the jury now?
It does make it, I guess, a bit whiter. The replacement alternate is a 57-year-old architect from Westchester County. But the judge noted that race isn't a concern because it is a diverse jury, even with the dismissal of this 41-year-old black man from either the Bronx or New Jersey. And the judge also said it would be inappropriate for him to consider race when making the decision as to whether this juror's candor made it appropriate for him to stick around.
The prosecutors are expected to wrap this weekend. So this week, I should say. So what are you watching for as they call their final witnesses?
Well, the one on the stand right now is just a summary witness. It's a paralegal from the U.S. Attorney's Office trying to help the jury organize some of the 500 plus exhibits they've seen over the last several weeks. We expect a couple of those. There's one additional substantive witness, though, and that's a former assistant to Sean Combs, someone else who might be able to tell the jury about drugs, about setting up hotels, about how he treated people in his orbit as prosecutors seek to prove that he was running a criminal enterprise.
Then, of course, the defense will start calling their own witnesses. Aaron, any indication whether Diddy will testify in his own defense?
Not yet. The defense had told the judge last week that they would make representations about the contours of its case this week. Now, we haven't heard anything from the defense yet. We do know we expect the defense to call at least one witness, a psychological expert, to counteract the psychological testimony of a prosecution expert about how alleged victims of sex trauma process what's happened to them. But we don't know what else the defense may have in store, including whether Sean Combs himself will testify in his own defense.
All right, Aaron Katursky outside the courthouse for us. Thanks, Aaron. And for more, be sure to follow our special show covering the trial Burden of Proof. That's on Disney Plus and Hulu weekdays at 5:30 p.m. Eastern and Pacific.
Looking to hire so much for that. So as I am making it do what it do, you can see right there, Kempire premiering now. Diddy's lawyer pushes for a third mistrial due to juror 6. 3 requests for a mistrial. And here's the intel here from TMC. Let's get it in, make it do what it do. If you dismiss that black juror, I want a mistrial. Listen. Diddy's accusing the prosecutors in his case of trying to get rid of a black juror, and he says he wants a mistrial if the judge goes through with the dismissal. The rapper's legal team filed a letter to Judge Aaron Smirian Sunday evening, claiming that while the court might believe the prosecution's questions about a juror's inconsistent answers during voir dire are sincere, the government is just finding pretense to dismiss a juror because of their race. Diddy's team says by putting the dismissal attempt into the context of the overarching proceedings, it's easy to see that they're trying to take advantage of opportunity to strike yet another black male from the jury. The jurors' inconsistent answers about their residency during voir dire, Diddy's team says doesn't necessarily mean they are not fit to serve on a jury, and they cite Judge Smirian's own words from Friday when he said the subject matter of what's being addressed is so far afield from the juror's preference. And there's Judge Smirian right there walking out of court for the day. However, Diddy's team asked the judge change his mind this by the afternoon, signaling his intent to dismiss the juror without further inquiry, and Diddy's side feels there's no justification for it. By dismissing a juror of color, Diddy argues the people of color will be less likely to serve our jury in the future. That's what Diddy's team is saying. Diddy's side also lays out a series of alleged abuses by the government during their investigation into him, claiming law enforcement used excessive force during the raids on his properties, and investigators steadily leaked false and prejudicial information to the public. His demand is clear. Diddy says that if the court insists on dismissing this one particular juror, then he believes he deserves mistrial. This is the third time Diddy has asked for a mistrial in this case, and many of the arguments here were made by his attorney, Xavier Donaldson, in court on Friday. According to the multiple reports, 4 of the jurors are white, 8 are not. The Daily Mail reports 5 of the jurors are black. At the time, the judge said he would consider the defense's arguments over the weekend, though he did indicate he was likely to dismiss the juror. So, 3 times for a mistrial, and they got denied 2 times already. Probably get denied the 3rd time. Ooh, child. Let's roll on. We got more Virtual Tour Live coming up right from the space right here, right now. Let go.
Off the case, week 6 of testimony in the Sean Diddy Combs trial, starting off with quite the shakeup. The judge officially dismissing Juror 6 over what he says were inconsistency in statements the juror made about where he lived. Sean Combs has denied all charges in his sex trafficking and racketeering trial. If convicted, he faces life in prison. Let's bring in our legal contributor, Brian Buckmeyer. All right, what's the latest from the courtroom today, Brian?
So, Kara, we have the second witness of the day on the stand. Both of them are what's called summary witnesses. That's typically when there is such voluminous information that the party, this case the government, feels that a witness should be able to condense that into charts, graphs, visual aids. And that's what's happening here. We're seeing text messages about coordinating travel, hotel booking, as well as flight plans, and also talking about drugs. Don't forget distribution of drugs, as well as sex trafficking and transportation to engage in prostitution are some of not only the predicate acts for the RICO charge, but also some of the other charges that Sean Combs is facing. We're also hearing that Brendan Paul, a former Syracuse basketball player who's arrested March of 2024 and whose case was dismissed and had close ties with Sean Combs as an assistant, is expected not to testify today, but tomorrow. Likely to testify about some of the allegations that he was associated with, possession of cocaine and marijuana, and how that ties into Sean Combs. We're also expecting the defense to start their case on Friday, already giving us at least 3 witnesses' names. One of them, the VP of operations for Bad Boy Entertainments.
A lot to come. Brian Buckmeyer, glad we have you there. For more on the trial, you can also catch Burden of Proof, the case against Diddy. That's every night, 5:30 p.m. Eastern, right here on ABC News Live. Also, check out Brian's podcast, Bad Rap, the case against Diddy. You can get that wherever you listen to your podcasts.
One thing about Mia, they gonna promote themselves. That's for damn sure. All right, y'all, more Brainley's Virtual Tour Live coming up right from the space right here and right now from NBCnews.com at Sean Diddy Combs trial. Some online content creators are playing by different rules. The judge has taken measures to ensure the anonymity of accusers who testify, but leaks of their identities are highlighting a concern among a new wave of content creation. Here we go, everybody. In recent years, the defamation lawsuit between actors Johnny Depp and Amber Heard and the powering of Megan Thee Stallion, followed by rapper Tory Lanez, put a new spin on how celebrity trials are covered as content creators and bloggers flood social media feeds with the most explosive moments. The federal trial. Hey, my home state, Arkansas, right there. Hang on, we'll give some play there. Shout out to the state of Arkansas. Yes, indeed. Been around since 1836. That's a long damn time. The federal trial of Sean Diddy Combs is no exception. That is really, really cool. Shout out to y'all. I see y'all. Arkansas. You tried. Just got to get rid of that dumbass governor who her daughter said to her mom, to her mother rather, that one day you could look pretty. I'm not joking. That was actually said. Each day outside a towering courthouse in Lower Manhattan, a horde of traditional media outlets, online streamers, and curious spectators jostled to score a seat inside the main courtroom where Combs is facing sex trafficking and racketeering conspiracy charges that could result in a lengthy prison sentence if convicted the rest of his life. Potentially. When the proceedings pause for a lunch break or conclude for the day, it's the dozens of content creators who take center stage, scrambling up to the sidewalks to set up their cell phone tripods and emote the latest testimony in courtroom drama for their eager followers. But with Combs' fate unfolding in a trial that is not being televised, the rush to relay every sort of detail and rack up views can pose challenges. Fraud with ethical issues as well. The real life consequences came to light when two women took the stand using pseudonyms were exposed when they're pursuing Sorry, y'all. Give me one moment here. Hang on. Give me one moment, y'all. Sorry. Hang on. Sorry. Give me one momento, please. And thank you. Okay. All right. Sorry, y'all. Back to this article here. When two women who took the stand using pseudonyms were exposed when their pursued names were leaked online, highlighting how irresponsible behavior in this new wave of content creation can be harmful. So here are some spectators here. Zoom in there. Some people. I think that's Tisha Tales. It looks like Tisha Tales. Either way, sister, listen, I see the body. The body, yada. I see you, sister. I see you. Federal prosecutors said Mia, a former assistant to Combs, had her identity revealed by a YouTube streamer who had been in the courtroom, and her name was also posted on X. While another courtroom watcher may have unmasked Jane, the ex-girlfriend of Combs, who testified over 6 days. Jane's personal lawyer told U.S. District Judge Aaron Surian last week that such posts and media outlets threatened her safety and privacy that led to the court pseudonym order. Surian has said that he will consider specific media gag orders or barring violators from court in a trial poised to continue through early July. Revealing the names of Combs' accusers wouldn't necessarily impact the trial itself, since jurors aren't supposed to consume media about the case or talk about it to others, but it still represents a line that must be tread carefully, said Mark Chucktow, a defense lawyer who handled racketeering cases as a federal prosecutor in Detroit. If names are leaked, he said, it could deter victims from coming forward in future high-profile cases because they won't believe the law enforcement assurances that their identities will be protected. Rather, to help protect the accusers' identities, the court sketches of them released publicly have not included their facial features, and traditional media coverage of their testimonies hasn't included physical descriptions. So I believe this was Jane. I think, yeah, this was Jane. For the creator behind the YouTube account, Make It Make Sense. Hey, make it make sense. Got to be in a NBC News article here, which has amassed more than 213,000 subscribers, shining a light on the accusers. Before and listened to cover the trial, he said he temporarily moved to New York to be in the courthouse each day. Do not try to guess who Jane is, please, he told his followers recently. It's not a joke. She's supposed to remain anonymous. The creator behind Make It Make Sense told NBC News after court ended this week that Legacy Mia may understand the repercussions of certain actions, but there's a different attitude among some content creators who are attending these high-profile trials for the first time and seeking to go viral. Exposing people's names does not move the needle or change the story, said the channel's creator, who asked for his real name not to be used because of fears for his personal safety. One afternoon after Combs' trial let out, a woman who says she works as a court employee gushed as she watched popular streamers like the man behind Make It Make Sense leave the courthouse. That's also a question that Stephanie Sue also got as well. Ryan Mango. There, how I get my information, she said, and no legal background is required for some content creators. It's simply about fulfilling people's curiosity and their own. Michelle Bracey of Mahan said her TikTok account, Miss_Knockout, has grown from about 9,000 followers since Combs' trial began mid-May to now more than 35,800. She says she goes live in the mornings before the trial starts. She sits in court. She takes extensive notes on a legal pad. Then she returns outside the courthouse at day's end, sometimes broadcasting throughout the evening. I don't follow the rules, of course. It's TikTok. You don't want to be removed, Bracey said, but I also make my coverage more relatable to people, and I stay in the middle. I'm not on this side or that side. I just get the facts on both sides. The 2022 courtroom dispute between Depp and her showcased a new frontier among among online content creation. The trial, which was televised, attracted droves of live streamers and spectators to outside of Fairfax, Virginia courthouse, where they could show their support for either side. Online as well, memes and hashtags, particularly ones manufactured to support depth, popped up and gained billions of views on TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram. Combs' case has not attracted that same groundswell, as the initial appearance of people in Free Diddy t-shirts early in this trial has subsided outside the courthouse. But on days when certain witnesses have taken the stand, including his ex-girlfriend Cassandra Cassie Ventura, the rapper Kid Cudi, and Jane, their presence reinvigorates interest. On Friday, the courthouse was buzzing with a surprise appearance by the rapper Kanye West, also still known as Kanye West, who tried to get inside the main courtroom to support Combs and was ushered instead to a court overflow room where he stayed for several minutes. When he left, members of the media and vloggers ran for the elevators to follow him outside, sprinting across the promenade to catch him before a car would whisk him away. So there he is there. It's these viral moments and quick reactions with key figures in the trial that content creators like Bracy yearn for. She said she had her own moment last month with one of Combs' defense lawyers that helped increase her followers. Are you Brian Steele? She said before Steele entered the courthouse. Can you say hi to my TikTok real quick? Hey, Steele responded. The idea is that other content creators would defy court orders and Combs' trials disappointing, Bracy told NBC News. You got to respect the court system and the judge, she said, and be bright enough not to repeat the names. Competition can be stiff among the creators. When court lets out, they jockey for position with television cameras as Combs' family, including his mother and children, escorted by security to their cars. The spectacle can draw a small crowd from interested passersby. Uto Ongo, sorry if I mispronounced your name, beautiful. A YouTube streamer for Brooklyn gives street preacher energy as he talks to his more than 13,600 subscribers from outside the courthouse. He told NBC News that he started covering the trial, his first to see everything for myself and put my biases aside. So that is Utu Ongo. Oh, my bad, brother. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Listen. Number love over here. Number love, grace, and space, man. I listen. Did I mention that I don't read these before the show so that way I can give the best reaction to you all? I did mention that, right? The most surprising thing about the trial, he added, has been knowing how much sway he can have, how small content creators, big content creators, big publications, big news programs, all of these people are merging as one. Ongo said, I really dived in. He added, this is our trial of the century. Factual. On a recent afternoon after court, he began streaming to his channel, contending with several other online streamers facing the sidewalk, a crush of media cameras and reporters, and unrelenting New York City street noise. He took it all in, anticipating what's to come when the jury finally reaches a verdict after weeks of an energized trial. Like Madison Square Garden out here, psychos, people on unicycles like this. An expressive Ongo told his followers, pointing to a man pedaling a unicycle. All of that going on, drinking and juggling, going by you, the moon man, all that is out here because they're here every day. So shout out to Eric Ortiz, who is the senior reporter for NBC News Digital, focusing on racial injustice and social inequality. You know, this has really brought out so many content creators. And remember when I said that YouTube was going to be like court TV? Exhibit A, because
time is slipping away from me. Yeah.
Because everybody doesn't have time, you know what I mean, to look for this source, look for that source. So they tune in to content creators, right? They're tuning into former, journalists of mainstream media, legacy media, and seeing what they have to say. They're tuning into lawyers who have utilized social media to their benefit, right? Because you want the legal side, you want the social side, right? So, like I said, shout out to everybody out there in New York City. Or in the words of Beyonce, down in New York City. Yes, indeed. From her famous song, I believe, her best song on Cowboy Carter. I'm telling you, I know everybody loves Honey Bucking and all that stuff, but that song, that is the best song on her album. Fight me on that, okay? From MiaTakeout.com. Now, this is a rumor, okay? Mia Takeout's a needle haystack, so take this with a grain of salt, okay? Exclusive, Diddy's lawyers plan not to call any witnesses. Okay, now this is just a rumor, okay? This does not mean a thing. I'm just having a conversation with all of you. Diddy's legal team pulls bold move, no witnesses in the trial of the century. The trial of the century involving music mogul Sean Diddy Combs may be heading for an unexpected and very swift ending. Sources close to Diddy's legal team told me to take out that his attorneys are planning a bold courtroom maneuver. They won't call a single witness in his defense. That's right, zero testimony, no surprise character witnesses, no dramatic last-minute cross-examinations. Just a clean, confident, we rest your honor. And while this might sound like legal suicide to the untrained eye, insiders insist their strategy behind silence. Rather, Diddy's lawyers believe the prosecution has failed to prove a RICO case, one insider explained. So instead of dragging the trial out or opening Diddy up to unnecessary risk, they'll let the prosecution finish and go straight into closing arguments. Let's break that down. In criminal trials, the burden of proof is on the prosecution. If they can't convince the jury beyond a reasonable doubt, then the defense doesn't technically have to say a word. That's not laziness. That's lawyering. If the prosecution case is weak, a flashy defense could backfire by adding confusion or drawing attention to Diddy's refusal to testify, which is almost a no-go for high-profile defendants. I think this is one of the lawyers here, if I'm not mistaken. Here's why this move could work. Number one, it signals confidence. Jurors are people, and when the defense says that's all you got and sits back, it can come across as a boss move. The jury may assume Diddy's team sees no threat. Number two, it voiced the Diddy on the stand circus. Let's be real, if Diddy took the stand, it would have been everywhere, but refusing to testify and making that less noticeable by calling no witnesses at all keeps the focus of the prosecution's shortcomings and not on Diddy's every word and facial twitch. Number three, it speeds things up. With no defense witnesses to question, the trial moves straight to closing arguments. Less time means less damage for public speculation and fewer opportunities for anything to go off script. But make no mistake, this is risky. If the jury does believe the prosecution made a compelling case, the lack of rebuttal could leave Diddy hanging out with no safety net. Meanwhile, there's a darker theory making the rounds in entertainment circles. Some believe Diddy took the case to trial with a 47 card, literally. Rumors are swirling that he's banking on a presidential pardon from 47 should the verdict go sideways. Whether that's true or just fan fiction for political gossip blogs, that remains to be seen. But this is wild 2025 news cycle. Never say never. For now, all eyes are on the courtroom. Will this no defense secure Diddy's freedom, or will it go down as one of the most miscalculated moves in modern celebrity legal history? Either way, in the words of Terrell Owens, grab your popcorn, get ready, or get your popcorn ready, rather, to quote him directly. Closing arguments are coming fast, and the verdict may be closer than we think. Now, obviously, what I think about this is, I think that this would be a dumb decision for the defense to say we're good here. I think that would be very dumb. Now, of course, we did hear from that legal expert from ABC News that the defense does have some witnesses, right? And we'll see. We'll see. The prosecution said that they want to wrap up their witnesses this week. And then after that, the defense will either do this or have witnesses. So we shall see. Oh, and one more article about new media. So here it is, here from the Hollywood Reporter. Outside the Diddy trial, a new media guard rules. As television cameras inside the courtroom rattled the O.J. Simpson trial 30 years ago. Oh my God! Wow, I'm 30. Good Lord Jesus. Influencers and live streamers outside 500 Pearl Street in Manhattan during the rapper's federal trial point to a trend and conundrum for media. So here is all of the reporters there. There's Ono Tungle, I think that's denied. I'm only saying that because I can tell his hairstyle. I'm just saying. And then you got some more people over here as well. So of course that is Kid Cudi. Let's get into it. Every weekday around 3 p.m. local time at the federal courthouse in Lower Manhattan, frenzy begins following hours of sensational testimony and evidence in the sex trafficking racketeering trial of hip-hop and fashion mogul Sean Diddy Combs, whose nosedive as a cultural icon after 3 decades of success seems to sink him further from those heights as new victims take the stand to implicate and denounce him. You'll spot the first trickle of media type supports of everyday folks stepping out of the rear entrance at the Manhattan Federal Court. Some are frantically typing on their just returned smartphones, which are contraband from inside the building, instead instantly relaying the blurry details from the day's testimony. Others make a beeline to catch the Uptown 6 train beneath nearby City Hall to a Midtown newsroom after watching hour upon hour and often harrowing allegations of forced sex, battery of women, coercion, gaslighting, and emotional cruelty by a romantic partner, which the women named as Combs' victims have delivered nearly every weekday for 5 weeks. When the 6th now the trial, some of the people exited the courthouse with no newsroom or editor to speak of quickly attached their phones, tripods, or selfie sticks to spill the courtroom tea du jour online. Soon a black van is spotted pulling up to 500 Pearl Street, and it's time to race around the front of the courthouse to capture the afternoon's most valuable moment. Here, a scrum of live streamers, YouTubers, and TikTok influencers coalesced to snag footage of the Combs family leaving court. Janice Combs, the defendant's mother, who after his father was ill, raised him 30 miles north of the courthouse, is the most sought-after photo subject as she attends the trial daily. The moment chaos erupts when Janice 83 exits the court and walks 20 feet to a vehicle that's just arrived. Janice, I'll drink your bath water. What? Excuse me.
Time is slipping away from me. Time.
Why in the flying hell would you want to drink an 83-year-old black woman's bath water? Why? And why live stream it? Okay, let's roll on. My God. Yells out a few weeks in the trial. He was referencing dialogue from The Color Purple. He tells me later. Oh, okay, child. Still, either way, like context or not, what the fuck? Chad's popularity during this trial is followed by that of her grandsons, King and Justin Dior Combs. Both make for big moments of the live streaming set or for their viewers, rather as hundreds or for some thousands are watching and commenting in real time, filling the online Diddy media industrial complex. It's a classic media frenzy moment, but these are not typical media professionals. The live streamers have stepped into the Diddy trial beat for the past 8 weeks, bringing a wide range of voices as they discuss the legal case and the defendant's unlikely life story. It could come with a trigger warning. Not only will there be discussions of DV and emotional abuse, while creating content, you might fall down a rabbit hole leading to unfounded comparisons to Jeffrey Epstein and the collection of kumquat. Wild speculation about every celebrity who's met the rapper, and in turn link already unfounded rumors to QAnon. All of this and more has already happened online amid the explosion of the Diddy-related video content that came after Cassandra Cass-Ventura filed her civil lawsuit against Combs, and again after his arrest. Not all of the new media creators and live streamers are guilty of creating any of this dangerous clickbait, but they stand outside the courthouse in its context and the wild possibilities of revelations at his trial that are now butting up against the reality of this case is grounded in reality and about a handful of people, most of whom are not famous. So as you can see, a little bit of everybody is there, as you can tell. Good damn, that is a whole look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. That is a whole tripod. Like, hello, hey, hello, hey, I'm a person. It's me. And no, that lady does not speak like that. I'm just being dramatic for extra effect, y'all. The trial's live streaming players each come with a unique delivery style that's less polished or familiar and rife with the slang or juror. Among this gang of street journalists are sometimes the frantic and frazzled, but more often than not sharp and informative explainers of YouTuber Tisha Tells, the conspiratorial force famer to the comedy trial coverage of first-timer Sam Cooperon, who has a 510,000 follower and growing TikTok fan base, and the wildly popular Ryan Mango, aka True Crime podcaster Stephanie Sue, who has taken up the Diddy trial and is running with it so successfully. She overtook Joe Rogan as the top podcaster on YouTube. Go ahead, Stephanie Sue. Yes, go ahead. First of all, let me tell you something. Joe Rogan is so known from his comedy days and Fear Factor days and that Spotify contract. The fact that a YouTuber overbeat Joe Rogan, like, that's a dub. Okay, let's just call it what it is. It's a dub. It's a dub. It's a dub. It's a dub. Okay. This trial and the non-professionals covering it have been commanding the eyes and ears of so many that the old guard is even finally playing nice, at least anecdotally. The way that the mainstream has treated influencers has changed so much. Rihanna Logan, who told the Hard Report she is in New York after crowdsourcing funds and has covered several big trials for her Instagram account. I think when I was covering Ghislaine Maxwell, rather, it was so disrespectful the way I was treated. Like, give me that seat. I want to sit there. And they're like, oh, cute. You're on Instagram. They're just so much more respectful now. It's different. I think they have to acknowledge that their numbers are down. Social media numbers are up. And there's no denying that. It's probably good them to admit that there's some change happening. Behind us across Pearl Street, distance from this new media gaggle, stands the media's old guard, firmly set up with expensive cameras and weather protective canopies in a neat row on the west side of Columbus Park. Hair and makeup are on point, but it's unclear if these camera-ready reports are actually inside the trial or inside watching the trial unfold each day before their stand-up live shot. This may not matter because legacy outlets have an entire apparatus moving information from the courtroom, fodder for live blogs published in near real time, giving a detailed rundown of testimony, feds and defense courtroom tension, combs-like antics with the jury, and Judge Sumerian's shifting mood. Now, I will say this. If you are in media, you can receive a press pass, and what usually ends up happening is that, let's just say if I was a correspondent for NBC News, right, and I had a producer with me, and that producer, right, we would take our notes, the producer, right, because you can't have your cell phone in court, but I do assume that there has to be a way that, oh, you know what, I bet you I know what it is. No, you probably can't do that either. Damn, because I was going to say there's probably a producer outside across the street waiting on when they come out, right? But I am sure that there is a way for media to be able to talk to that producer who is outside, right? Because what I would do is have my producer, hey, text them, hey, the trial's almost done, right? So, yes, indeed. There. Now, that's just my great diction, you know what I mean? That's that you put together, but there you go. What all this costs the networks and cable news outlets is surely sizable. What's produced is beholden to the many limitations or traditions of TV news, outmoded news segment formats, restrictive standards of red tape, and often the middle of the road story selection. The result, legacy media is again the full day trial story, as some of it unfolds right in front of their voice cameras. The contrast between these two groups of media figures, all parties being content creators after all, and their proximity to court when it lets out at 3 p.m. feels too on the nose, sometimes 5 p.m. depending on what's going on. With online news pivoting to video nearly a decade ago and the TikTok influencer era that followed, impactful on-camera reporting has shifted away from the stoic, neutral, as possible serious journalist to the selfie-style shooting, personable, quirky novice who caters to an audience of their own creation. So well, good evening, everyone. I'm Braylon Lee for ABC News Live outside the courtroom for the Diddy trial. It's the 24th day. And today, Ananya Sankar, a summary witness, went on the stand. Now, the first thing that she said was, when it came to gathering the data or data from the cell phone, that Christina Corkman was upset with Diddy that he's been keeping things too close to the vest. Gone are the days of that too. Let me tell you something. Okay, so girl, when I was in the courtroom, Diddy's facial expression was like this. The jury was like, and child, I needed some coffee because I was falling asleep. I was trying to rise above all of it. Shout out to Candy Bears. But it went from good evening to now. Listen, Linda, listen. Okay. On any given weekday outside Combs trial, content creators, live streamers shout rundowns and takes to their followers, some even fielding legal questions. The problem for me is that these live streams are often unpolished and at times messy with cringe-inducing errors, admission of having no idea what I'm talking about. This has always been an uncomfortable fact around the democratization of media and the rise of individual voices as news sources on social media, Substack, YouTube, and the rest. With the backbone of a news report, namely fact-checking and sourcing just in favor of trust cultivated by personality-driven influencers and popular takes, will the truth slip out of the old idea of journalism holding truth to power? The slippage is occurring amid some upsetting trends for the old guard and great news for digital platforms. According to the Pew Research Center, 86% of Americans, basically a majority of the country, turn to digital devices for news, with 2/3 using news websites and apps, and around half are getting news directly from social media channels. Meanwhile, 23% say they prefer to get their news from apps and websites, but those who prefer social media news rose 6% to 18%. This is deeply relevant rather to this moment in the Combs narrative and trial, which comes 30 years after television and cameras entered the courtroom, rattled the O.J. Simpson trial, which may have affected public opinion and contributed to the case exposing deep national divides along race. The influencers and live streamers may not have such an impact here, but the size and diversity among audiences they command and at times can mobilize should be ignored. You get just so many passionate people telling stories and creating content in different ways. Creator Emily Hagan told the Hollywood Report outside the federal court, and you have people that are sleeping outside as a career right now, just aiding the culture of Diddy. It shows what he built and it shows why the stakes are so high. Hagan, one of several one-woman producer / hosts milling about the courthouse perimeter each day, also dabbles in comedy, written journalism, and ghostwriting. She has garnered attention online by meticulously preserving rapper Kanye West off-deleted Twitter missives and rantings at Kanye's posts. I think she was on, I think it's Emily Knows Everything. I think she was recently on with Armand Wiggins. And by the way, I also saw a notification that Queen Sheba was on with Armand Wiggins as well. So congratulations to Queen Sheba as well. Listen, all the content creators out there in New York, y'all make it do what it do. Whether you have 500 followers, you got 3,000 like me, 20,000, 50,000, 100,000, a million. Listen, you are out there every day with your phone, your tripod, your battery packs, your backpack, your legal pad, your notebooks, your pens, and your pencils. And making sure your bank account is good and making sure your Airbnb is good. Y'all are doing the shit. So I'm giving everybody their credit. Okay? Like, listen, it is what it is. Some people are not going to like people, but we can also give credit where credit's due. You know what I mean? And after what happened with that YouTube couple that was unnecessarily unalived, let's just move forward in love, peace, and soul. But also, too, you have to be a solution first. But some people rather just stay a problem. If it doesn't apply, let it fly. But if you let it fly, it must apply. Since she crowdfunded her followers to fly to New York for Combs' trial in mid-May, she's been uploading rapid-fire clips consisting of her roving around the Diddy trial happenings outside of the Pearl Street Federal Courthouse. She posts her incisive and at times revealing work on the regular platforms, Instagram, which gets the bulk of her traffic, YouTube and Twitch. She arrived from California, as she told the Hollywood Report in an interview, more interested in documenting the chaos surrounding the courthouse, what characters it attracts, and what the culture is like outside the courthouse. Hagen's move replies at this untelevised trial, where phones or even vapes move fast security. You could even say it was precedent. She was the first to nail down the story behind a group of seemingly unhoused, potentially high men and women donning free day t-shirts who had gathered in Columbus Park. What looked like a semi-transparent orchestrated pro-Combs protest turned out to be a promotion for Diddy coin cryptocurrency launched by two of Combs' sons. We talked about that here on Braylon's Virtual Tour Live. That this stunt took place feet from cameras owned by the networks and was missed but exposed by a roving live stream speaks more than that story that was confirmed. Confronted by Tenacious Report. Hagen has also revealed by simply walking over, phone extended, asking for an interview, the identity and first-hand account of the woman who was dragged from the courtroom after running to the front of the gallery, yelling to Combs' mainstream outlets, largely referred to Jacqueline Kander Williams as an identified woman. And with West around the court, Hagen was kind enough to provide THR, the Hollywood Report, with some of the details of his visit. These characters are as much a part of the trial, I think, as the people inside, Hagen said, referring not only to the estimated 24 live streamers documenting the trial's major revelations and its strange fringes, but also everyone in the spectacle, the angry man who arrives daily to rant at the crowd, the man who turned up in Renaissance-era garb, oh my Lord Jesus, the revelers and the day truthers. By the way, I just want to give up for Josh Peck from Drake and Josh, who said, whenever someone said, I'm not a lie, but you ain't a truther either. So shout out to Josh Peck, who came up with truther. And also one of the greatest lines in all the sitcoms. Now hug me, brother! Shout out to Josh Peck. Some of the live streaming knew Garfield and ownership of the day story that mainstream media hasn't earned or forfeited by not covering Cassie Ventura's 2023 civil suit against Combs. They watched as interest from the networks and other mainstream outlets grew after Combs' quick settlement out of court came the next day. They noticed as Combs' legal woes became a hot story, and then possible RICO case. The interest outside of streaming gradually grew with civil lawsuits and complaints, and then exploded with a scandalous civil case in February 2024 for producer Ronnie Little Rod Jones. From there, the Diddy headlines came daily, eventually were unavoidable. For live streamers like Donat Ricketts, aka Donat POV, this is tantamount to theft of services. I'm the most viral thing out here. You know what, Donat? I'm mad at your brother. Listen, if they got the microphone in your face, you better give them something good to talk about. I ain't mad at. Do not tell me. Sorry, give me a I'm gonna tell you how I'm laughing a little bit. I'm the most viral thing out here. Donat tells me outside the courthouse as we await for the Combs family to depart for the day, like getting them engaged, actually having actually having critical thinking and viewpoints I understand a lot. Didn't explains how he shadowed under different lawyers in Los Angeles in a 4-year program, but says he decided he doesn't want to be a lawyer because you have to get indoctrinated. Okay, you mean like a secret organization that don't want to say out loud, or like you get indoctrinated by the culture of being a lawyer? Like, what possibilities of indoctrination would come your way? Than not, but he rather live stream from the big trials of rappers and others who will help him grow the Not's POV audience. But the media trying to take over from here stings, he says. I think the significance of this case in this very moment is showing the power streaming platforms. He told the Hard Report, you got to understand something. When Cassie filed a lawsuit before the prosecutor, they sent Diddy a letter. I have the video from then with 650,000 views talking about Diddy. We're the ones who really amplified this. The mainstream media is playing catch up. And we always said that we weren't going to let mainstream media take authority over something that we did the work to investigate. The Not's coverage of the Combs trial, personality driven, entertaining, if unpolished, informed but not always correct, deeply engaged with its audience, encapsulates the advantages and pitfalls of the imperfect medium. Influencer content and live stream is continuous audience gobbling rather. Sorry, y'all. From the mainstream's Ogar is not an if question, but an how much question on poorly damaged assessments amid shrinking resources for newsrooms. As the persistent pitfalls of the one-person newsroom, no fact-checking, no logistics, no security or crisis training, and just too much information for one person to process and deliver. It seems that some of the deeper and most problematic issues of this encroachment will go unaddressed for now. At least for now, rather. I think people are trying to uncover something big, Hagen said about her coverage. I'm trying to capture a moment and culture emotionally. Traditional media can't really explore that scene. They can't be talking about their emotions. They just have to see the facts. First of all, shout out to the High Report for a excellent deep dive into new media, and I fully agree with everything they said. Now, the reason why I was laughing so hard at the Knot was because it's like, bruh, you the most viral thing here when Diddy's on trial. Isn't he the most viral thing there? Boy, listen.
Time is slipping away from me.
But I love the confidence, though. So with that being said, I'm going to turn off my camera now because we done the whole show for an hour. Yes, we have. Very, very interesting show this evening. You got to hear the perspective about new media in the case. And I do think that this case is a very interesting time period of the future of media, right? Because, you guys tune into me and tune into others to get your information. And will there be a time where ABC News, NBC News, CBS News starts hiring content creators to work for these news organizations full-time or part-time or in a freelancing role? Will that happen? I am sure. With the live streaming platforms of CBS News 24/7, NBC Now, ABC Live, Live Now, which is Fox News, which is Fox's local coverage, I am sure that content creators will get more play, right? So, instead of saying, reporting live for ABC News, I'm Brandon Lee, I can say reporting live, Brandon Lee, content creator, reporting live from the Diddy trial. How would that sign off go? From the Diddy trial, I'm trying to really think of how to say it. From the Diddy trial, I'm ABC News content creator Brandon Lee. That's how that would go. So from the Diddy trial, I'm NBC News content creator Brandon Lee. From the Diddy trial, I'm CBS News content creator Brandon Lee. I think that definitely is going to become more of an option. If you don't think that these content creators are not getting cars from the Hollywood Report, the Rap Deadline, Variety. If you don't think they're not getting contacts from ABC News, NBC News, CBS News, even Fox News, child. But Fox News, they've been leaning into content creators, but of course those content creators come from a particular persuasion of thinking. You know what I mean? So, but yeah. So, and of course, you know, News Nation is owned by Nexstar Group, so I'm surprised that they have not done Diddy coverage from News Nation on the CW. I'm very surprised by that. But hey, listen, a news division also costs money as well. So, but yes, indeed, we'll take a little commercial break and we'll be back with more right after this. We are live on tour. Like, comment, share, subscribe. We'll be back once again right after this.
Beyond this gate, find gardens green and epic worlds to fill your dreams.
I'm loving it.
I'm loving y'all right back. Welcome back into Brayley's virtual tour live. Glad to have all you here in the building with me. Yes, indeed, another great show here, recapping the 24th day of the Diddy trial here, and just chilling out now, making it do what it do. Like I said, here in a little bit, we'll read the Daily Motivator and then head on out. But you know, it's always something, man. And as we get closer and closer, well, what does the defense have at this point, right? You know, the testimony we have heard has been damning. I don't think there's anything that anyone can say at this point in time in this trial, right, to really vindicate Diddy. I don't believe there's anything that can be said, done, or any evidence that could be showcased right now to do that, because this is the 6th week of the trial. So after the, you know, prosecution ends their you know, week with their, you know, witnesses, then you got the 7th and 8th week. So you only got 2 weeks to fight against what the prosecution has put up. Do you really think you can handle that, do that, execute that in a reasonable amount of time? I don't think the defense has it in them to do that. I just don't. And like I said, I'm only giving you my take. I mean, you saw the thumbnail, you know my voice, and damn it, you know why you're here. Because I give it to you real raw and true. So we'll see what it is. Like I said, it's far from over, though. You know, it's not over until it's over, until that verdict is reached. We're not done. So that's how I see that. So yes, indeed, there. 2 people in the building. Thank you all so much. I appreciate every single one of you for being here. Thank you so much. Like I said, we'll probably end it probably at 1:44. Get y'all the Daily Motivator, then head on out, because then, y'all, we got to talk about Roa tonight at 8:30. Got your review. And apparently, ladies and gentlemen, Roa might be ended. I mean, it might be ending permanently. No joke. So we'll get into that tonight as well. So a lot to discuss coming up here at 8:30. Yes, indeed, there. So yes, indeed, there. So yeah, just wait until 1:44, and then we'll read the Daily Motivator and then head on out of here. One more minute here, and then we'll get to the Daily Motivator. Then get ready to head on out so we can rest and get ready for Roa. But another recap day of the Diddy trial. Of course, you know, we'll be back here tomorrow night at 6 o'clock for another update. That will be the 25th day of the Diddy trial. So a lot going on here, of course, in addition to all of the other content we have for you, because we're always coming out with content pretty much every single day. This is the most I have been on every single day. No joke. So yes, indeed, there. All right, here we go, everybody. Problems are only opportunities in work clothes. Henry Kaiser. Very interesting thought process there. It's time for the Daily Motivator for Monday, June 16th, 2025, everybody. It's time for the Daily Motivator, everybody. for Monday, June 6, 2025. Firm with yourself. It's easy rather to cheat on yourself. Be careful not to do it. No one else is looking over your shoulder to make sure you honor your commitments to yourself. What's up? Yourself off. Buy into your own rationalizations without the slightest pushback. Yet in doing so, you're only hurting yourself, and you really don't want to do that. Be steadfast about what you demand of yourself. Don't let yourself get away with cheating, even when no one else will ever know. You'll know, and you'll be disappointed, and the quality of your life will take a hit. Stand firm, do whatever you promise yourself, and be every bit of the great person you intend to be. Ralph Morrison. I will have to say this. I believe you do have to stand firm when you are going after your dream, right? We talked about this morning that there's a lot of people graduating college, right, that are trying to enter the workforce for entry-level jobs, and the job market is not the greatest right now, right? So how do you stay firm in putting yourself out there when everybody's getting rejected? What I've come to recognize is if you keep living in rejection, you'll miss out on you getting accepted. So sometimes you have to take a swing and make your own door for yourself. That's what this YouTube channel is. It was like, you know what? I am doing everything right. I am applying my experience. I'm like, you know what? Let me just pound the pavement and just showcase what I can do. And here we are. All these subscribers and views later, right? So the first thing, be firm with yourself that you will eventually be accepted. That's the first thing I'll tell you. The second thing I will tell you is, in doing so, you're only hurting yourself when you're not standing firm with yourself. I fully agree with that. If you are shaky with how you are thinking about yourself and how you're moving, you're only hurting yourself. I talked to my mom yesterday. I told a friend of mine, the only people who are ever, when your dream comes true, the only people who are never going to be able to understand is the people who didn't see it for you. And then there's going to be a group of people who never understood your dream, but they still love you. So if no one else is going to love on you and love on your dream and love what you want for yourself, you have to stand firm with yourself for that. And finally, you'll be just on the quality of your life will take a hit. Remember, you cannot serve everybody, because if you try to serve everybody, I promise you there's going to be somebody that's going to be complaining about the dish. At least you won't be as bad as Miss Wanda's cooking, but somebody will complain about the life that you are serving them, right? So make sure with whatever you do in your life that the quality of your life is good enough for you to consume before you start trying to serve it to others. And with that being said, everybody, it's time for the best outro on YouTube. Know what you do and do what you know. Never say you want more special, because you are always born a blessing and trust. You may not be where you want to be, but by the end of it, you'll be where you need to be. Do what you've been chosen to do. Well, that's one thing to call yourself. It's another thing to be chosen. One love, much love, all love. I have spent time with you. You have spent time with me. And hopefully by spending time together, we'll also be great together. And I always remember you're doing radio, television, YouTube, living your best life, or you're just recognizing that within this trial, that sincerely, no matter how many days the trial goes on, the truth is coming out. And if you are afraid of the truth that people are hearing, maybe you should have done what you've done in the first place. Make sure the replay is not just for you if you watch it, not just for if you listen to it, but for you on spirits. Again, I love you, I value you, I embrace you all. Always remember, receive love, you gotta give it, or receive love, you gotta give it, or receive love, you gotta give it. Wherever obstacles you have overcome, where success you have achieved upon this particular day, I'm extremely proud of you, but no one else is proud of you. Be proud of your damn self. And finally, y'all, listen. We're in the 6th week of this trial. I do not know what the defense has. Hell, I saw a media take an article that said Kanye was going to be a witness. Please know, whatever is meant to happen with what is being said, just know this truth has been hidden for years. Just know that. So wherever we hear It's been hidden for years, and now it's finally being heard. Commercial break and fireworks coming your way for the day that was, for the day that's come, for the blessings on the way for you, me, all of us, as a society, as a people, as a culture. I feel love is right back to you. If this is your final tour for this evening, good evening to you. But for the rest of you, I will see you back here at 8:30 for Real Housewives of Atlanta. Got some things to talk about. One love, much love, all love. Once again, I feel love. And send it right back to you. Good night, everybody. Bye-bye.
I thought I should tell you they've been talking about you. Yeah, they've been talking about you. They've been talking about the fact that they've done everything they could to stop you and everything they could to block you, but you still win. They've been talking about the fact that they have undermined your success and they have tried to sabotage your seasons, but you keep winning. They've been talking about the fact that even though they don't like each other, they get together to try to kill you, but you keep winning. They've been talking about the fact that you were voted least likely to succeed, but like cream, you keep rising to the top. They've been talking about how they tried to burn your world down, but like the phoenix, you rose from the ashes. They've been talking about you. And you know what they say? Oh, she's just lucky. He's just lucky. But no, you ain't lucky. You're anointed. You got something on you. You got favor on you. You got power on you. You were born to win. Now they can call it luck, but it's grace. They can call it luck, but it's favor. But whatever they call it, it doesn't matter, because you know what God calls you? Do you know what God calls you? A winner. I thought I should tell you they've been talking about you. Yeah, they've been talking about you. They've been talking about the fact that they've done everything they could to stop you and everything they could to block you, but you still win. They've been talking about the fact that they have undermined your success and they have tried to sabotage your seasons, but you keep winning. They've been talking about the fact that even though they don't like each other, they get together to try to kill you, but you keep winning. They've been talking about the fact that you were voted least likely to succeed, but like cream, you keep rising to the top. They've been talking about how they tried to burn your world down, but like the phoenix, you rose from the ashes. They've been talking about you. And you know what they say? Oh, she's just lucky. He's just lucky. But no, you ain't lucky. You're anointed. You got something on you. You got favor on you. You got power on you. You were born to win. Now they can call it luck, but it's grace. They can call it luck, but it's favor. But whatever they call it, it doesn't matter, because you know what God calls you? Do you know what God calls you? A winner. I thought I should tell you they've been talking about you. Yeah, they've been talking about you. They've been talking about the fact that they've done everything they could to stop you and everything they could to block you, but you still win. They've been talking about the fact that they have undermined your success and they have tried to sabotage your seasons, but you keep winning. They've been talking about the fact that even though they don't like each other, they get together to try to kill you, but you keep winning. They've been talking about the fact that you were voted least likely to succeed, but like cream, you keep rising to the top. They've been talking about how they tried to burn your world down, but like the phoenix, you rose from the ashes. They've been talking about you. And you know what they say? Oh, she's just lucky. He's just lucky. But no, you ain't lucky. You're anointed. You got something on you. You got favor on you. You got power on you. You were born to win. Now they can call it luck, but it's grace. They can call it luck, but it's favor. But whatever they call it, it doesn't matter, because you know what God calls you? Do you know what God calls you? A winner. I thought I should tell you they've been talking about you. Yeah, they've been talking about you. They've been talking about the fact that they've done everything they could to stop you and everything they could to block you, but you still win. They've been talking about the fact that they have undermined your success and they have tried to sabotage your seasons, but you keep winning. They've been talking about the fact that even though they don't like each other, they get together to try to kill you, but you keep winning. They've been talking about the fact that you were voted least likely to succeed, but like cream, you keep rising to the top. They've been talking about how they tried to burn your world down, but like the phoenix, you rose from the ashes. They've been talking about you. And you know what they say? Oh, she's just lucky. He's just lucky. But no, you ain't lucky. You're anointed. You got something on you. You got favor on you. You got power on you. You were born to win. Now they can call it luck, but it's grace. They can call it luck, but it's favor. But whatever they call it, it doesn't matter, because you know what God calls you? Do you know what God calls you? A winner.
Prepare for a journey beyond imagination, beyond belief, beyond anything you've experienced before. Universal Epic Universe, a new theme park where you'll step through extraordinary portals to 5 immersive worlds. Prepare for a cosmic voyage of discovery, an isle of fire-breathing excitement, a shadowy world of monsters and mystery, new wonders in the wizarding world, and a new way to play. Plus the splendor of a magnificent resort hotel overlooking the park. It's all new excitement at Universal Orlando Resort. A week's worth of vacation thrills with 4 amazing theme parks, a variety of spectacular themed hotels, and incredible dining and entertainment. It's all at Universal Orlando Resort, where you'll find new adventures every day. Explore the astonishing worlds of Universal Epic Universe at Universal Orlando Resort.